Hello students, today we will be studying the osteological features of a typical rib. Now out of the 12 pairs of ribs, ribs number 3 to 10 are the typical ribs. Now what we see here are a few typical ribs. So we'll just pick up one randomly. Now what are the parts of the rib? Rib has an anterior end, a posterior end and a shaft. The anterior end is oval in shape and shows a concave depression for articulation with the corresponding costal cartilage to form the costochondral joint, which is a primary cartilaginous joint. The posterior end shows the head, the neck and the tubercle. The head, as is seen here, shows two articular facets, the upper and the lower, and between the two it shows a transverse ridge which is called as the crest of the head. The upper articular facet is smaller, articulates with the vertebra which is one above the corresponding vertebra, while the lower articular facet is larger and articulates with the body of the numerically corresponding vertebra. The crest of the head corresponds to the intervertebral disc between these two adjacent vertebrae. We then go on to see the neck. The neck is the flattened part of the rib just adjacent to the head. It has two borders, a superior border and an inferior border, and two surfaces, an anterior surface and a posterior surface. The superior border is also called as the crest of the neck. It gives attachment to the superior costotransverse ligament. The inferior border is sharp and thin. The anterior surface is smooth. It gives attachment to the posterior intercostal membrane, while the posterior surface is rough and it gives attachment to the inferior costotransverse ligament. We then go on to see the tubercle. The tubercle has got two parts, a medial part which is articular while the lateral part which is non-articular. The medial articular part is going to articulate with the transverse process of the numerically corresponding thoracic vertebra to form the costotransverse joint. Both these joints, that is the costotransverse joint as well as the two costovertebral joints, are plain synovial type of joints. The lateral non-articular part of the tubercle is going to give attachment to the lateral costotransverse ligament. We then go on to see the shaft. Shaft is the major part of the rib which lies between the posterior and the anterior ends. It is flattened and twisted or angulated. The shaft has two angles which can be prominently seen. This here is the posterior angle or the angle which is about 5 centimeters anterior or anterolateral to the tubercle, while this bend here which is seen about 2 centimeters posterior to the anterior end, that is the anterior angle. So posterior angle and anterior angle. We then go on to see the surfaces and borders of the shaft. The shaft has two borders and two surfaces. It has an upper border which is thick and rounded. It has a lower border which is thin and sharp. It has an outer surface which is convex outwards, and it has an inner surface which is concave inwards. Let us now see what are the attachments on the shaft. The superior border is said to have two lips, an outer lip and an inner lip. The outer lip gives insertion to the external intercostal muscle, while the inner lip gives insertion to the internal intercostal as well as the intercostalis intimus. The inferior sharp border forms the lower edge of the costal groove, and it gives attachment to the external intercostal muscle. We then go on to see the two surfaces. The outer surface, just medial to the anterior angle, the outer surface gives attachment to the external oblique muscle. The major part of the outer surface between the two angles gives attachment to the serratus anterior muscle that is seen in rib number 3 to 8, while in rib number 9 and 10, the same area gives attachment to latissimus dorsi. The area which is medial to the posterior angle gives attachment to erector spinae group of muscles. The inner or medial surface of the shaft shows presence of the costal groove nearer to the inferior border. This costal groove shows the presence of three structures which lie in this groove from above downwards. These are the intercostal vein, the intercostal artery, and the intercostal nerve. The floor of the costal groove gives attachment to the internal intercostal muscle, while the upper lip of the costal groove gives attachment to the intercostalis intimus muscle in the middle half of the shaft of the rib. Thus, we have seen the various parts and attachments of a typical rib. Now, let us see how to identify the side to which the rib belongs. For this, the head, neck and tubercle of the rib should lie posteriorly. The anterior end with a concave facet should lie anteriorly. The outer surface of the rib should be convex, while the inner surface should be concave and facing medially. Superior border of the shaft is smooth, while the inferior border is sharp and nearer to the costal groove. So with these dimensions, we can identify that this rib belongs to the right side. And how do we hold the rib in the normal anatomical position? The posterior end has to be a little above the anterior end, and it has to be nearer to the midline as compared to the anterior end. So this is how we hold the rib in the normal anatomical position. Thus we have seen the different parts, attachments, joints formed by the typical rib, and we also saw how to identify the side and how to hold it in normal anatomical position. Thank you.